Retirement was supposed to be easy. 5 years ago, I bought 9 Colorado acres, built my fortress, and swore I would never deal with another bureaucrat. My land was surveyed, double-stamped, and mined down to the last pine needle. No HOA, no neighbor drama, just me, the mountain and storms rolling in from Utah. And then Karen moved in. Let's get one thing straight, I didn't start this war. But the moment Karen Haselinger Platinum's UV, realtor queen of Blue Haven Ridge, moved her faux column palace to the edge of my property line, it was like lighting a fuse on a powder keg, her first move. A gold-embossed letter delivered by hand, asking me to repaint my non-compliant garage door to match her neighborhood's tranquil tones. Then I ignored it. That only encouraged her. Next came a notice about my fence, another about my gravel driveway. Then my porch lights, zetically jarring nocturnal pollution, according to Karen, who apparently ran her own ministry of visual harmony. All these letters, some with fake HOA letterhead, some just signed Karen, with a heart over the I. Who still does that after high school? I burned every letter in my fireplace. But the pressure kept building. Neighbors, most of whom I'd never even met, started glaring my way, planting privacy hedges tall enough to block out my workshop and probably the moon. Karen's house crept closer, like it was trying to annex my yard by sheer entitlement. Then one October morning, I found her on my side of the boundary, phone out, clipboard in hand, pretending she was on a nature walk. "You're trespassing," I said, loud enough to make her blink. "Oh, I'm just gathering information," she chirped, like she was filing a bird-watching log. "For what?" I asked. Her smile was pure poison. "Let's just say it's time we settled some things. I should have seen it coming." A week later, I got served. Some poor sap in an ill-fitting suit, probably still paying off law school, handed me a legal packet from the Blue Haven Ridge HOA. Side was a hand-drawn map that looked like it had survived a tornado, accusing my house, my garage, my workshop of protruding onto HOA land. That was their word. Protruding. Like my home was some kind of toxic spill. The letter demanded I cease unauthorized occupation, restore the land to community standard, and here's the kicker, submit a proposal to voluntarily transfer my buildings to the HOA or else. That's when I realized this wasn't passive-aggressive posturing. This was a declaration of war. Karen stood at the edge of my porch, arms folded, her lawyer already backing away. "Your structure is in violation," she said, sugar sweet. "We're giving you a chance to resolve this amicably." I stared right at her. "You have 20 seconds to get off my land before I call the sheriff." Her expression didn't flicker. "We'll be following up shortly." I watched her leave. That's when the real game began. The minute Karen's Lexus disappeared down the road, I didn't even bother to finish my coffee. I went straight to my utility room and hauled out the old metal filing cabinet top drawer, third folder from the left. The real map, my map. Notarized survey, GPS markers, satellite overlays, legal parcel descriptions stamped so many times the paper was practically embossed. My land was so legit you could print money off it. I snapped photos of everything and uploaded them to the cloud, just in case Karen or her clipboard minions decided to get creative in the night. Then I called Mesa County Land Services. When I told the clerk what happened, she transferred me to a district engineer who actually chuckled. "Karen's trying to annex property again?" He said. "Again?" I asked. "Never mind," he replied. "We'll send someone out." That was all I needed to hear. Karen wasn't just annoying, she was infamous. I didn't wait. Next stop, Rocky Vista Geomatics. The best damn survey firm in Colorado. I'd worked with them back in my government days. They didn't miss details and they didn't play favorites. Full GPS resurvey. Top priority. "I'll prepay," I told them. The receptionist didn't even blink. "Want a drone sweep too?" she asked. Absolutely. If Karen wanted a boundary war, I'd drag her into a land law hell her Pinterest boards couldn't even imagine. By the time I got home, there was another letter. Karen, single-spaced, legalese sprinkled with good faith and amicable resolution, ending with "this offer remains open for 48 hours, highlighted like I was on some game show. I didn't respond. Instead, I spent the night overlaying my old survey with fresh satellite images, marking every inch of my territory like a dog with a vengeance complex. 2 days later, the Rocky Vista crew showed up at sunrise. 3 guys, heavy boots, laser tripods, GPS boxes the size of bricks. I handed them my original paperwork. They barely looked at it, real pros. They trust their own numbers. I watched from the terrace as they worked the southern line, double-checking every marker. The satisfaction was almost primal. Karen thought she was clever. She was about to learn the difference between a HOA Facebook post and cold, hard evidence. 3 hours in, the crew chief, Levi ex-army, jaw like a granite slab knocked on my workshop door. Mind coming out for a sec? He led me to the ridge, pointed to an orange pin flush with the ground. Original 2020 marker. GPS matches within an inch. I nodded. Now look here. 20 feet toward Karen's Mediterranean masterpiece. Levi peeled back some ivy on her rock wall. Another pin 30 feet off. Levi showed me the tablet overlay. Here's the kicker, he said, smirking. Her pool, her patio, her guest house, they're on your land. Nearly an acre. I stared, heart pounding. Karen had been building her Barbie dream house on my dirt. That's when the gloves came off. By sundown, I'd filed the first motion with the county clerk encroachment dispute, all receipts attached. I sent copies everywhere, certified mail, email, even hired a courier and sunglasses just for style points. Karen had poked the bear, and now she was about to learn what happens when the bear files paperwork. Her response? A barbecue. No, really. She hosted a community solidarity cookout right on the disputed land my land. Folding chairs, HOA board in pastel polish, cheap wine, Bluetooth speakers blaring, acoustic covers. Karen played gracious host while her minions sipped Pinot on a patio they didn't legally own. I didn't crash the party. I filmed it. Then I called the sheriff, unauthorized gathering on private land subject to active dispute. Children near an unpermitted pool. They arrived just in time to break up Karen's suburban and the whole thing got live-streamed by someone's teenager. Viral by dinner. That night, I posted a single sentence on the town Facebook group. If you were going to accuse someone of building on your land, make sure your house isn't built on theirs. That's all it took. Within hours, my inbox was on fire. Neighbors, local reporters, even a retired HOA board member who confessed. Karen's been pulling these tricks for years. The tide was turning. Court came fast. Karen walked in like she was starring in a reality show, white blazer, frozen smile. Her lawyer spun a tale about mapping inconsistencies and good faith misunderstandings. When it was my turn, I kept it short. Original surveys, drone overlays, GPS data, and video of her backyard wine festival, complete with time-stamped trespass. For extra spice, I played a voicemail where Karen herself said, "If we keep pressure on him, he'll cave. That land's not even worth much to him." Oops. The judge didn't buy a word of her defense. Turns out, Karen had never gotten final approval for half her masterpiece. Her pool permit? Pending? Guest house? Registered as a tool shed? Patio? Never filed at all? The final blow? She'd had access to the official county survey before she started her crusade and never used it. Verdict. Karen lost. Hard. 30 days to tear down everything that trespassed. Pay $820,000 in damages, and submit the entire HOA 4 audit. Oh, and the judge assigned an independent land auditor to watch over the whole mess. That's when the HOA board collectively aged 10 years in one afternoon, but Karen didn't pay. Not a penny. Her lawyer tried the usual delay and pray tactics, but Colorado law was on my side. The court let me file for ownership transfer of everything. House, pool, patio, the whole suburban castle. 6 weeks later, I stood on the porch of Karen's old house, papers in hand. It was all mine. Did I move in? Hell no. That house was cursed with bad vibes and worse taste. Instead, I handed the keys to a buddy running a nonprofit for veterans. We turned the place into something: good quiet rooms, gardens, a real community minus the HOA drama. Karen? She lost her license, her title, and her empire all for a fake property line and a plastic barbecue. Some people never learn. If you're going to start a war, you'd better bring a real map. Now I sit on my porch, black coffee in hand, watching storm clouds roll in and waiting for the next Karen to try their luck. I keep a new sign on the property line. Private property, bring receipts. Nobody's tested it yet.